Oh, right, yeah, finish off for Alex Jones. This has been fire. I've got another conspiracy thing I'm going to start after this, but definitely request some conspiracy stuff. And more Alex Jones. But yeah, let's go.
3 years apiece of terroristic threats. I gave a state police officer Road to Tyranny. They're charging me for that, but also the Ron Paul speech on there. I put that on. I'm charged with both. And so he faxed me and then mailed me the newspaper, and I saw the judge. I called the judge at home. Back then I was naive 8 years ago. I thought, come on. So I get the judge on the phone and I go, well, I'm not going to get too much into the case, but the newspaper, you're actually not mistrialing somebody facing 9 years in jail for giving a cop a video? And he said, I'm not going to talk to you about it, but yes, it's going to court. So then they had the hearing. And the cop comes in and says, he gave me that video and it's anti-government. And the judge says, we find that threatening. You will convict. And the jury didn't. And it was in the news. But they actually wanted to put him in jail for going, officer. In fact, the cop even testified, this is important for your future and your family's future. And they said that was a threat, mentioning family. But yes, and they all sat there with a straight face. I mean, these are kook, cult, demons, hardcore evil. I mean, these people are flaming scum. I mean, just wild, crazy, dangerous people. Just like the Nazis, the Soviets, all of them. Pol Pot killing 31% of Cambodia, murdering anybody that could read or write or wear glasses. You're like, why'd he do that? Because he's a flaming loon. They like it. You like water skiing, enchiladas, hanging out with your family, mountain biking. They like black uniforms and torturing children. They do it all over the world. Yesterday, I'm shooting the nightly news right before it airs. And one of my IT people, one of my 6 IT people, comes in and says, the FBI wants to meet with me tomorrow. And I said, what about? And he said, well, you know, before I worked here a year ago, you know, because I did the interviews, I was doing, because we hired somebody who...
Could you imagine, like, someone coming to you and saying that FBI, you'd be like, what? What? Like, what about? Just like as if that...
Interviews I was doing, because we hired somebody who already had a job, because we were paying more, who builds websites for the biggest bar owners in Austin. And he does great work. So I said, yeah, build websites, do code for us. I hire him. He comes in, and I said, okay, well, you can either get a lawyer and refuse to go, or you can go and just see. But I'm going to imagine it's going to turn into an Alex Jones discussion, not bars and people I've never met. And I said, at that point, if they start telling you you're a criminal with something made up, I said, the issue is anything you say that's even halfway wrong, they've got unconstitutional laws where they say, oh, lying to the FBI, kind of like filming police, they put you in prison for life now in Illinois. The law doesn't even say that. They got juries that'll do it. I mean, half the country's zombies. So I explained to him, I said, you do what you want, but when I come into the conversation, it's going to be a news item. I said, don't bring me up. You may get FBI people that aren't criminals because they got compartmentalized ones that do, you know, the local drug stuff, the local bank robberies, kidnapping, stuff like that. But I said, if I come up, obviously I'm going to talk about it. Well, he met with them this morning, and about a third of the discussion is about Alex Jones and how they listen every day and want me to know they listen. Oh, gee, you didn't think I didn't know you listen? Like I don't know what I'm dealing with? Like I haven't had special forces jump out of the bushes and set fires and try to blame it on me in Florida? Like I haven't had probably 30 times police try to get me to talk about attacking other police so you can put me in prison? Like I haven't had Marine Corps officers in plain clothes try to get me to attack the State Department with them when I'm covering Bilderberg? Get this through your fat brains. I am an American patriot. I am the good guy. I am as pure as the driven snow. I'm not doing anything, even under your criminal system, that's a fraud, illegal. Get that through your head. They get some idiot on my website threatening a cop, the one that shot the black guy in the back and said he had attacked him. The guy was in handcuffs on the ground. Cop executed him in a fit of bloodthirst. Now convicted, spent, what, 1 year in jail, already out? Some idiot posts that. Our moderators take it down, as they do everything calling for any type of criminality. The FBI calls me up and says, we want you to put that back up. And I said, no. Go ahead and make up whatever crud you want. I'm not going to put something up with a cop's home address saying go after him. And I said, if you got your subpoena, come get it. And they said, we're coming with a subpoena. I said, good. Bring your subpoena. Then they start calling around the office. They weren't asking here when they were calling random numbers of my crew. The FBI from California was not calling, asking about the guy's thing about, you know, go to the cop's house, here it is, and get him. No, they were asking about the Obama deception a week before it came out. This is what they are, little commissar officers, little political officers who want to intimidate my First Amendment. Hey, move to North Korea. So they go on and say, yeah, we listen every day. We listen all the time. We want Alex to know that, and we want him to not talk bad about us today. What in Hades is that? You want to try to creep me out, which you've done the opposite. I just got about 5 months of energy off this. And then, and of course, then it turns into, and why am I talking about this on air now? The FBI shows up here last time about the subpoena and wants to know why we have posters of Obama up on the wall. And I said, well, number one, how do you like your narcotics trafficking buddies? Hey, you know, your FBI buddies killed that cop and the doctor and others, Terrence Yakey, up there at Oklahoma City. You know, would you like the police officers' names I've talked to where the FBI came in their office and said, if you investigate the bombs in the building, you and your wife are dead? And the FBI guys are like, and the Austin cop that was with them is like, okay, we don't want to discuss this anymore. I'm like, oh, it isn't time to scare me anymore. I want to know if you're with the people that kill cops. They were basically scurrying out of here when they were done. I don't care what you do to me, okay? You understand that? I'm not a coward like you. I've committed to this fight. I know I'm right. And your crud with my employee only confirms it all. And maybe you're so deep into intimidating people that you just think it was cute and funny that you like the show and you listen every day. And you really listen every day and don't say bad things about us. Maybe you want me to talk about you on air. And then you sit there and say, don't give Alex this Austin detective's number. Like I want to have a detective's number. I got the police chief's home number and cell phone in there. Like I want to call. The Austin police chief's asked me out for dinner to drink a beer. I don't have time to do it. I'm too busy looking at photos of 1-year-old babies they're killing in China. I'm too busy breaking reports how the U.S. government plans to start killing kids up to age 3. Why don't you investigate some real crime? I get mad because my life has been stolen from me. You think it's fun to deal with a criminal government? You think I don't know? You think I haven't been punched in the nose and kicked in the side by kickboxers and told to shut up about Walter Smith, Judge Walter Smith, and his trial, his kangaroo civil trial with the Davidians? Just because I went up and bullhorned a judge, 4 people come in to beat my head in, I already know about the New World Order, buddy boy. If you think you're going to intimidate me, you better check again, because you got the wrong person. Anyways, then they start telling my employee he's a criminal and done things wrong on just, not even something with the case with the place where he webmastered and all that, just some nothingness that wasn't even anything. It was some domestic dispute with one of his friends and you know, trying to defuse it. and they want him to go report on himself to the Austin police so they can turn him and say, you're going to go to jail if you don't go plant something in Alex Jones's office. They didn't tell him that, but I know that's next. And you're on record, okay? And I've got lawyers out of state with money waiting to sue you personally if you try to set me up. You got it? I got your number. I see right into you. Do you understand? Number 4.
Alex definitely 100% is the only man the FBI in America that the FBI fears. That you know that they dread ever having to go and deal with him. I'm too busy looking at 1-year-old babies getting killed in China. I think that might be illegal.
The United States is tied with the UK for the most hours of television watched per person each week. And that gets into the brainwaves, lowering while you're watching television, then generally being in a lowered state, closer to sleepwalking types, not even the deep sleep state that is connected to higher brainwave levels, some of the highest. It's that near sleep level where the brainwaves are very low and associated with very low cognitive ability. It is all of this. You can pull up charts that university studies have tracked, and there's literally been scores of studies on it, that since television became popularized in Europe and the United States in the 50s, in a direct line with television, obesity, lower IQs, lower test scores, crime, violence, breakup of families, the end of the neighborhood barbecues, the end of, you drive through neighborhoods now, and it's nothing but glowing blue lights. Like, I was reading an article about this a few years ago about, it was popular in the 50s and 60s in New York to have a telescope in your window and to people watch, people eating dinner, people arguing, people doing other things. And now, a few years ago, I was up in a buddy's high-rise here in Austin at a party, and I said, oh, you got a telescope? I bet it's neat, to people watch. And he said, no. He said, all you see is the blue glow. He goes, look, turn the lights off. They flipped the lights off. I looked out at the other big condos, and it was nothing but glowing blue, just glowing blue. Not talking to their husbands, not talking to their wives, not playing board games with their children, not painting, watching television. Watching television.
All right, Alex, they're watching television, granted, but you're spying on people. Stop spying on people, Alex.
Out through the neighborhoods, just glowing blue, glowing blue, glowing blue. And now people don't have language. They just have little abbreviated things they send in text. I sit there in restaurants and watch children that look like pale little mongoloids, unfortunately, who aren't mongoloids, texting and playing their video games, and the parents are doing the same thing, and no one's communicating. This is a full-out assault. So it is directly not just that television overall, the visual media is not challenging to the brain, because it is there.
The kids look like mongoloids. That's bad enough, like saying retard is bad nowadays. Like, mongoloids bad. But the fact that he followed it up with, the kids look like mongoloids. They aren't mongoloids. It's just called. Alex is the man.
Brain to see, and actually programs the brain to not be able to conjure up its own images with ideas, but to expect things to just be provided that way. And again, it doesn't just lower the brain waves, it destroys cognitive ability to where people just expect to be shown things. And that's why the studies are out. We talk a lot about that reading and radio are incredibly good for the brain. Because when you hear me say AK-47, your mind will conjure up an image of a Kalashnikov, an AK-47, Kalashnikov 47. If I say Barack Obama, it will conjure up the way Barack Obama looks, a whole history of Barack Obama, a whole gestalt of his speech patterns, everything. That is challenging to the brain. That makes more connections. If I say cyclotron, if I say heavy water reactor, if you know what those are, you're now imaging them. if I say basic unified field theory equation, if you're a mathematician or into quantum mechanics, you are now imaging those equations in a 3D overlay in your mind. That is challenging. That is developing the mind. It is not developing the mind. Now you notice I'm doing the only thing on television that can make television good, and that's what my films really are. I call them film books. That's what my shows are. That's why I make it interactive. Let's search engine this term. That means you go search engine, and now it's interactive, and so it's not as damaging. It can actually be helpful. Or I say red bicycle. I'm not showing. You notice the globalists will show you an image of a red bicycle. They won't say red bicycle. That would be from the master programmer something helping you. But when I say 8,000-year-old spearhead, you're now envisioning every calculation and image you've got of a spearhead. You're envisioning what 8,000 years ago was like. So television and the way it's been programmed is the main author of our societal degeneration. And it's not just, this wasn't done by accident. Edward Bernays, all the big propagandists on record, openly wrote books and publicly called you scum and how they were going to get you and how they were going to destroy the family and ha, 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 and how much fun it all is. And so if you'll just go read them talking about their war against you, then you'll know I'm not just telling you this. See, trust but verify. I beg of you, listen to me and check out what I'm telling you. If I tell you cancer's doubled, search it. If I tell you diabetes has doubled the last 10 years, search it. If I tell you antidepressants in all species, whether they're insect or whether they are fish or crustacean or mammal, massive IQ reductions, massive fertility reductions. If I tell you bisphenol A, go look it up, find it. You are under unmitigated, total and complete assault by a bunch of people who can only get away with it if you are not aware. Commanders kiss the butt of all the little cops.
On that point, I see something the other day that said the younger generation, as opposed to the TikTok and like YouTube shorts, where that shortened attention span, but the younger generation's attention span is actually longer because they've grown up with live streams where they watch like live streams of whatever, gamers or whatever, and they're like 3-5 hours long, that where that kind of, yeah, I thought that was kind of actually interesting fact. The younger generation have a longer, yeah.
And then they all feed on each other and their hatred and disdain for the public, especially in Miami. It was a lot. I mean, a federal judge was out there at a previous event in Miami going to their car, and the cops cornered him and beat him down, and they lost a big suit over that because they didn't know. They thought they were going to have a little fun on a side street with a judge and went to, I mean, just beat the person almost to death. And they got in a lot of trouble for that, but that was because that was a real citizen, a God-level person, you know, above them in the government, not a slave scum that's, you know, just here to be stomped on. And so that's why when I'm driving down the road and there's lanes on both sides of me, Austin cop, no lights on, just run right up behind you with pleasure. Just get, and then swing around and almost hit you. And then just sit there with a light in your face going, you son of a bitch, citizen, you are slave, civilian, I rule you. And if I want to shoot you in the face with rubber bullets, you know, that girl at the Red Sox game came out of a bar. They shot her in the face 10 feet away, blew her eyeball back in her brain. She bled to death. The cops went on the news and said she shouldn't have been out there. Death, death, death. Hey, don't worry. The bankers are going to take everything you got, cops. You think you can just deal death on us and deal pain on us? You don't think there aren't bigger devils above you in the New World Order that'll have their way with you? You think you're safe from evil? We have liberty and freedom, and look at that famous photo. That was in Oregon. That woman, they said no protest. She was peaceful with a sign, and there's video of that on the web, and they just start choking her till she passes out. Just men in black uniforms grabbing a 55-year-old, woman, just choking her. You're going to learn who we are. You're going to learn to submit. The foreign bankers have given us unlimited power, and we're going to rule you. This is our country. You're here. We're going to feed on your ass. And the cops just drink fluoride water. Oh, they take their kids and just shoot them up with mercury, and the kids become autistic. The cops don't care. I'm going to the tech bar. I don't care if my kid's brain damaged. And they drink whiskey and wreck and kill everybody in Austin. And then when they wreck and kill themselves, the cops then go and SWAT team the bar owners that sold them too much whiskey. It's your fault you sold too much whiskey to a god. You don't sell too much whiskey to a god. We're God. You understand? We rule America. We'll shoot you in the face, we'll bloody your face, and we'll laugh about it because we're weak gang members. You look at those men. Go back to the video of the cops laughing. Look how soft they are. Look how their eyes don't have any electric liberty in them. Look at how soft they are. Look at how disgusting they are. And you can see a few of the cops in there are looking like they're not having fun. And if you look at their faces, they look human. They look like they still have a soul. Back it up to them laughing. You know.
Hit her in the face! Now her case is back in the news because of this.
The good news about being able to watch you guys live on TV is that lady with the red dress.
A police video shot after the shooting incident, just released following a review of excessive force complaints at the protest.
Hit pause. Hit pause. That one's soft right there. That guy joined the force because I guarantee you he's the type of guy that bullied kids that were smaller than him. Then those kids grew up and kicked his ass. I know those types. I've seen that face. And now they love it. They can abuse and beat up everybody, and nobody can stop them. Nobody can stop them. They're having their way with America. They want our guns. And if you're not with them, cops and military, then you will declare that you're with the Republic now. And don't tell me that I'm a weirdo because I'm upset about this, and I should only go get upset about my favorite football team winning or losing. Listen, I know what tyranny means. I know the bankers are putting poison in our food and water. I know the bankers have stolen $8.5 trillion. I know we're under War Powers Act. I know they're hurting us. I know they're carrying out New World Order. I know they staged those terror attacks. You know what it's like to gut up to this and go out every day and go past the peer pressure and come out day one and say 9/11 was an inside job and lose most of the radio stations I was on. You know what it's like to go to sleep every night knowing you work for a bunch of psychotic killers and you bastards are probably going to end up killing me one day. You know what it's like knowing you've ruined my life. You know what it's like, you sons of bitches. I'm tired of your crap. You commit evil, you're part of an evil system, and we're standing up against you. And the Republic is going to defeat you in the end. Some of us won't make it personally through this, but a lot of us are. And in the end, you are going to be brought to justice for all the kids you kidnapped for CPS, all you CPS workers, all you corrupt bureaucrats, all of you that have had your way with innocent children over and over again, who think your evil's invincible. You're not invincible, and God is going to deal with you. And you are cursed to hell. I'm done. I got to get out of here. I'm pissed off now. Robert Wannick, you can make some closing comments. I'll give you the last 2 minutes. We're going to end transmission. Make sure the guy's got your address so I can send you those videos so you can resist tyranny. I salute you.
Mic drop. He just goes. And it's like you're expecting it to, like, stop at some point, and it doesn't. He goes more, and you're like, he's either got to let that go a bit, or he's going to explode. When he said, "You're going to kill me," it's like, no, you're going to kill you, Alex. Well, that needs to be a T-shirt as well. Would he say, don't give too much whiskey to God, or to a god, or something like that? That needs to be a T-shirt. That is a great quote. You're giving too much whiskey to a god. Don't you get... Alex is great. Definitely request more Alex. Yeah, this was fun. But honestly, I don't know where he gets his energy from. It is insane. But yeah, that's the reaction. Sweet.